Hello there, what is going on everyone? We are back with a Star Wars Legion unboxing, and we're going to be looking at the ARF troopers in the new package style. This is actually the first unboxing I will be doing of the new Star Wars Legion edition with the new logo and the new revamped art style and all of that. So this is going to be as exciting for me as it is for you, maybe more so one way or the other. This is also a multiple language pack, which is very interesting to me because it means we are seeing stuff from in all different languages. We've got English on the back here. We've got German on the top here. We've got French and the Spanish on the side, and then we just have art on this side. So a whole lot of stuff to look at. Here's the bottom if you wanted to see any of that as well. So very cool stuff. If you guys are new here to the channel, we are still doing our $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. This box is a little beat up because we did get this one at Adepticon. They were, there was a lot of trading and stuff going on, and I was able to secure a couple of Legion expansions. We're going to be looking at this one as well as some others that have also come out around this time. And we're going to go through all of this one. This one is sealed on 3 sides, which is a little interesting. So, yes, there we go. All right, let's get this box open. Take a look at all of the new packaging, everything that's new in here. We've got our plastic right there, of which we will be diving into. We've got a rules insert, or rather just an insert. We've got lots and lots of cards. Again, that's the multi-language cards. We've got bases here, and I thought there would be cardboard, but there is literally no cardboard tokens in here, unless they're in this pack, which they very well might be. So let's go and jump into this one first. So we are, and I know that I am behind the curve on this. I haven't been getting all of the unboxings as soon as they would normally have been. So here we go. We've got, these are the new order token style that they're doing. I believe this is an order token for, of course, Republic, and then this is more of like the generic order token style. So if you just don't want to have specific army specific order tokens, and you just want one generic set of order tokens in case you play multiple armies and don't want to have to carry around a million different sets, you can just run one. I think that's the goal of this particular set. Let me know in the comments if there's been clarification on that I've missed, but that's what I believe that they are basically for. We have all of these cards. We have the multi-language versions of the cards. We've got our bases. Let's look at this little insert here. We'll do a close-ups on the cards, and we'll also put these the plastic. We'll put these minis together. We've got our multiple language stuff there, and we've got our credits on there, as well as all of the people who helped bring us this game. So all of that stuff is going on right there. And then we have this. Let's go ahead and jump right into all of this. There we go. We've got the plastic out of the sprue. Now, this is the new style I've been seeing more and more of, whereas these two frames are kind of held together with this little section here. Now, this is kind of interesting for shipping because it probably means that they're less likely to slam into each other, to rattle into each other, and probably less likely for certain pieces to break loose. In the past, that's happened once or twice, where like a head or a gun or a small piece might that's only held on by a single injection point might potentially spill out. And this is protected in 2 ways. One is, of course, in this new system of having extra supports on the frame itself, and then also by it being in a bag. If something were to break loose, it would be in here. So this is very smart packaging, and even though there's a little bit of potential waste in there, it is probably saving them from having to do like replacement parts and stuff like that. So yeah, and we have all of our bases here. And one of the things that we're going to be getting in here is we're going to be getting all of these ARF troopers. We're also going to be getting a Jedi, which is going to be very, very cool. And let's take a look real quick at some of the sprue right here. So we've got, it should actually be this way. We've got all the torsos, all the legs. Now, if you are trying to get the instructions, these are all going to be online at the Atomic Mass Games website under Star Wars Legion. But generally. It's not super difficult to figure out how they're all going to go together because of the fact that they're numbered in such a way that you can sort of intuit it out. But if you use the alphabet system, all of the E's typically go together. The G's will typically go together, so on and so forth. F, all of those pieces typically go together. And it's usually torso back, torso front, left leg, right leg, arms, and then weapon. And sometimes you have multiple head options. But yeah, and then sometimes you have a little extra basing material here for some of the heavies. We got the cloak options here for the Jedi. This is clearly Jedi stuff. We have different options for how you want them to have a lightsaber. We've got the single arm lightsaber. We've got the double bladed lightsaber. Oh, this is going to be fun because there's a lot of options for this dude. And I think that's really fun. So we have different ways that we can put them together. I would say, let me know in the comments how you want to put this guy together or how you want me to put him together. But this isn't a live video, so I'll already have it together before you even see this video. So unfortunately, that's not going to work. But let me know what you guys are thinking of doing for yours, how you're planning to put them together. And now let's look at the cards. All right, so we've got the basic unit right now. As you can see, this is the new art style. So this is actually the first time I have done this with the new art style, which does mean that I will have to also flip the card around to the back side to see that there are 66 points, and they can take a clone commander upgrade, a heavy and personnel, a comm, a training, and a grenade options. They have a lot of options with them, and we'll see if there are new generic upgrades that come out in the card packs that are supposed to be coming out later this year, to see if there's even more wild and crazy things we can do with a lot of those upgrade slots. As far as the front half, of course, you are getting 4. They are Courage 2 and 1 health. No Surge, as you would expect for clones, but in the red defense dice, again, as you would expect for clones. Speed 2. All of that is pretty standard. The higher Courage value is the thing that stands out here a little bit, which is very nice. They are a Special Forces unit, so Courage 2 on a Special Forces isn't that outrageous. All in all, pretty standard on the left side of the card so far. If we go to the right side of the card, we'll look at their weapons. They have a black die for unarmed, and then they have a DC-15 blaster rifle with black dice at range 1 to 4. And that is a nicer thing. Again, a range 4 weapon that is just natural, that you don't have to do anything special, like you don't have to exhaust anything to shoot range 4. That much is pretty nice. They also have Observe 2. So one of the things you can do is you can put out some Observe tokens, and then you can shoot. If you're in a position where you can hit somebody, I think it's range 3 for Observe, then you can put, that's, I guess it's a little bit better than aiming and shooting if they're already at range 3. If they're not, then you might need to aim and shoot. But, if you can hit them with Observe and then shoot, and you end up, it turns out you don't need to spend both rerolls, then you leave those for somebody else. And of course, that could potentially stack with the clone token sharing a little bit better, because then somebody else can spend a neighbor's aim and then also benefit from Observe tokens that are on there. They have Scout 1, so they can get onto the battlefield a little bit easier. Scout's a great keyword, works really well in the new edition. They also have Low Profile and Unhindered. Unhindered helps them with their movement. Low Profile helps them stay alive just a little bit better. Again, not staying alive forever with only 1 health, but the red die should help them out, and hopefully they can get Surge tokens from other sources. If we look into what they're getting, you have a personnel upgrade here called the ARF Trooper Duo. And this is a pretty cool one that gives them, for 26 points, you're getting 2 additional ARF Troopers. This is giving you kind of an increased unit size for Special Forces, which is pretty cool. And they also are going to have a cache of a single Surge token, which will let you, of course, upgrade one of your defense dice or attack dice. You can do it for whatever you want. You also have the RPS 6 for the heavy here, which is cumbersome and has impact 2. And it's a range 2 to 4 weapon for only 24 points. And you're getting 1 red, 1 white, and 1 black. So you're getting a rainbow of offensive dice, which is pretty cool. And I think the most noteworthy thing of this expansion is the Clone Trooper only Jedi Guardian. So he's not just Clone Trooper only, but Special Forces Clone Trooper only. So you can't put him in phase 1s, but this does mean you can put him in ARF Troopers, as well as adding him to your wonderful ARC troopers if you want to do that. So, and I think that is a nice thing. Now, the ARC troopers, I believe, already have charge, so they won't benefit from that as much. But they can certainly benefit from everything else, and that's and they're already a really strong unit. So what does he give? Well, let's talk about him. He gives charge. He becomes the leader. He has sidearm, melee, and ranged. Of course, that is going to mean that he is unable to use any of those additional weapons, like the weapons that appear on the unit card. Sidearm means for melee or for ranged, whichever one they have. Some characters only have one. But sidearm means you're restricted to using your own weapons for melee combat, and you're also restricted to using your own weapon for ranged combat. In this case, that means he's unable to shoot any guns at all because he does not have a ranged weapon. He does not know yet how to throw his lightsaber, or at least to make it return to him. So in theory, if he were to throw his saber, it would be a complete catastrophe. The button would probably depress right away. The blade would turn off, and then he'd get shot and die instantly. And it would be on the the bloopers for the separatists. They would the droids, the B1s would laugh at that. You don't want that to happen. So you're going to ignore sidearm, your rearranged stuff, and you're just going to basically only ever be able to use the lightsaber. Now, the lightsaber does give you 2 red. It has impact 2 and pierce 1. So it's a solid melee option. And that is cool. However, he is not a master of the Force. He's not a super Jedi. He might only be a newly minted Jedi Knight, or even a senior Padawan or something like that. So you're not going to have these things that you're not going to gain immunity to pierce. You're not going to gain Master of the Force. You're not going to gain any Force powers or anything like that with this particular Jedi. And I think this is sort of reflective of the war effort on the Jedi Order, and how they started to stretch themselves very, very thin, assigning certain Jedi to leading frontline battles that might not have actually been ready to do that yet. I think in a perfect world, they would have rather have sent someone like Obi-Wan Kenobi out to lead in combat, but he was busy already doing that, and they needed more and more, so they had to pull from their second string, their third string, their backups, the backups of the backups, and that's kind of a little bit reflective of the type of Jedi that you're seeing right here. And those are our cards. We also, of course, have all of these foreign language versions, so if you wanted to see those, you can do that as well. We have, so that's all of the other stuff. And you may want to hold on to these in case in case anything happens to your cards. I don't think I'm going to need them for too much, but I've seen some people come up with cool things. Also, just to show you the backs of the cards, because I think some people might ask, here's the backs of the upgrade cards. All say Star Wars Legion on them, which is kind of interesting because now instead of having like an upgrade symbol or anything crazy on the backs, like you could actually shuffle these and kind of come up with some kind of mini game where where you were drafting upgrades or playing like Mario Kart, and you just got a random upgrade bubble and boom, oh, what did you get? I got a clone trooper Jedi leader. So all kinds of weird stuff like that. Let's go ahead and put these minis together. So I just wanted to pause mid-assembly because I'm putting everything together. So far, everything's going together very easily. These models go together very, very well. The injection points are all at very good places. It's very easy to shave off what you need to shave off. None of them are, on bad places. These frames and sprues are designed very well. So kudos on that department. But I also want to talk about how easy it would be to take one of these clone heads, because every one of these ARF troopers seems to have their ARF helmet and also a clone head. It would be so easy just to put a clone head on here. Now, the peg definitely doesn't fit in there, so they didn't want to sort of tell you. I don't think Lucas would ever let a clone Jedi become canon, because there's too much into the whole, like, clones can't use the Force, and that factors into bigger things that lead to Episode 9. And, of course, it was a big problem in the books in the EU as well. So I don't think they'll ever actually officially condone that. But in your home games, there's nothing to stop you from just kind of clipping that head, that neck peg off there and just getting this in there, and or even just shaving it down a little bit. But I think a clone Jedi is definitely a possibility with this box. I'm probably not going to do it right here, but it's definitely something I would love to see you guys do, and let me know, share, send it to me, tag me on social media if you do that, because It'd be really cool. I think for at least this being the first one, I want to put it together the most recognizable way. But in the future, if I get any more of these, definitely going to do a clone Jedi. All right, we've got these guys all set. They are all built. There's a little improvement with some of the AMG stuff. I mean, the great sculpts, they're easy to put together, like I talked about. But they're not all on some kind of tactical rock, all right? And we make jokes about the tactical rocks. And one of the reasons I joke about it is because, again, I like having my guys with their feet on the ground. I want to have options if I want to put rocks there or not. There are some guys that are standing on things. This one I have no problem with because that could be like an ammo crate, with extra little rocket launcher, rounds and stuff like that. There could be extra shells in there, which totally works. This one I'm less crazy about because that could be like a warhead or something like that, which just might not work with everything. And then there was another one that was a sewer grate. I didn't do that one. I just left it off. I think it was actually this guy. Was supposed to be on a sewer grating, and I just didn't want to do it because I'm not going to be doing like a street thing where there shouldn't be any sewer, like fencing or anything like that. This one I'm not that crazy about either, but I think this one I can more easily put like basing material and stuff over the top of. But a lot of my clone stuff are like kind of in desert or like cracked dry earth, kind of open wilderness, and it just doesn't work with like sewer grading. And for the Jedi, there was so many options to build this guy that were really cool. I ended up not going with the hood. There was a full hood. I didn't really like the way the hood went on. It was a little weird. It was kind of like this. I ended up doing like the hood, this separate piece here that's like the hood kind of folded back. Works a little bit better. This one, again, this would be a little lower if it was on there. I just didn't like the way it fit on his head with the horns. I wasn't working with that one, so I didn't feel that. I decided to give him a double-bladed and a single-bladed saber, and my thought here is that while that may look incredibly badass, it is also not necessarily reflective of the that novice Jedi Knight, that freshly minted Jedi that I had seen before. So this particular guy, my thought here is that his master or colleague died, and he picked up, maybe there was a master who had the double-bladed saber and he picked it up, and he's angry now. And maybe he's even tempted with revenge, during the course of this battle. Maybe maybe like this was his actual lightsaber, but now he's going to try and use his mask. He's not going to be that effective with it because he hasn't practiced with it. Hence the card only having, not that many dice. But he might get himself into trouble. He might turn to the dark side. It is definitely possible if he lets the vengeance and the rage consume him. So that's my story for this guy. That's where he's got the two sabers. But you could do two regular sabers. You could do a hand outstretched. I didn't like the hand outstretched because, yes, he's the leader. Maybe he's pointing, but it also kind of looks like he's trying to use the force. And since he doesn't have any force powers, I didn't want him to actually do that. So this is what we ended up with. So he looks pretty cool. All right, that's our look at the ARF troopers. I did save all of the extra heads. All of the clone troopers do have a head option, and I saved all of those because I don't know if I'll use a bunch of heads for a really sick and twisted separatist base, or maybe I'll save them for some other game like Age of Sigmar, and maybe I'll want to have a whole unit of like liberators that are all clone heads and make it be a cross-universe crossover. I don't know. Maybe I'll find a use for them, maybe not. But yes, that's our look at the ARF troopers, and stay tuned for more stuff. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. You can't take the sky from me. The spice must flow. Be excellent to each other, and always wash your socks.